are with us for the first time, you can find more about what we do at evidencemanagement.com. That's our website. We would encourage you to look there and find out more about what we do. We're going to be talking about some new things this week for 2022 that we're pretty excited about. So that's the place to go find the information. Not just yet, but soon. Next item up for bid. We always try to direct people to our evidence management community forum on Facebook. That's just a resource that we would encourage you to utilize, reach out and contact evidence managers across the country that might be dealing with the same issue that you're dealing with at your place. So Facebook, if you're on the Facebook, that's a good place to connect. I'm gonna get a drink of water and talk about slide number 3. Again, this wouldn't be possible if it weren't for the partnership that we have with Tracker Products. So I would encourage you to go check out their website, check out their product. They are an evidence management software company that can help you figure some things out. You can learn more and visit them at trackerproducts.com. This is our first episode of 2022. We started during the pandemic in the year of 2020. This is now the 3rd numbered year in our little series, but this is season 3, episode 1, and we're in 3D today. So if you receive your glasses in the mail, you can put those on. There's technically no special equipment in order to view this particular episode, but if you've got 3D glasses, go ahead and put them on, because we're going to do 3D today. And when we talk about 3D, we're not talking about the 3rd dimension. We're talking about drug disposition demonstrations. And we've got the folks from NarcGone here with us that are going to do a drug disposition demonstration to help us, help you possibly get rid of some drugs that you have in storage. I know that's something that most of us deal with, and it is a problem for everyone that deals with it. So we're going to learn a bit about a new way that you might be able to take care of that. So a couple of things. We're going to talk about a lot today. If you were with us for the hastily planned 2021 Christmas episode where we did our annual kind of agency grants, we are going to announce the winners of those drawings today. And we are going to do so we're adding a new wrinkle today. We're also going to make an announcement about our 22 live training. And that's something that I'm extremely excited about. Trying to change the culture a little bit, do things differently. We're looking forward to that. I think it'll be fun. And then we're going to talk with NarcGone. So they're going to have to sit for a little while while we do a little housekeeping and chat with you, our loyal and valued viewer. So we got some things we want to share with you, some things literally that we want to share with you, like money. We want to give you some money to do some things, and we hope that you're on to receive it. And we'll also have another little giveaway today that will be directly from NarcGone, so stay tuned for more about that. And then we'll talk about what's next on the evidence show. So a little, yeah, my computer is slow. I want to make a little disclaimer here and a general kind of warning. We're trying to do new things because we like to do new things. The old things are boring. But when you try a few new things, a lot of the success of that new thing is contingent on bandwidth. So we're going to try to play a few videos, incorporate some video into our production today. And some of that's bandwidth, some of that is just plain technical prowess. So our producers here at EMI Studios are going to be working on that. But the bad news is there are no producers. There is no studio. This is an office in a very nondescript generic office building somewhere in the suburbs north of Dallas. I'm just a guy with a beard in an office. That's it. So hopefully this stuff will work. Maybe it won't, but
oh, you have confidence.
Absolutely. That's why we're using the disclaimer. So let's talk about stuff we can give away. If you'll remember, if you were with us at Christmas, we wanted to give some things away because it was Christmas, and that's just what you do at Christmas. So now we have James Nally, our man in a field, not in
In a
the
field.
field, in a field. He is going to present some presents, and I'm going to try to play the video. So if you can't see the video, or if it doesn't play for you, then there's definitely something wrong on your end. It's not us, it's you. But we're going to try to share this with you and play it. If it doesn't work and you've got 4 minutes of just dead air, stay with us because it will end. And with no further ado, or with some further ado, here we go. Let's try this. Oh, actually, I'll hit play and then we'll try this.
A little more sound, Sean.
Hey guys, James Nally here from EMI, Evidence Management Institute, coming to you today from Big Bear Lake here in the beautiful but cold San Bernardino Mountains of Southern California. Thanks for joining me as we pick our recipients of our underwhelming Christmas miracle. First of all, before we get started, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in this drawing. Obviously, the response was overwhelming, and Sean and I thank each and every one of you for your support. Here at EMI, we have so much coming your way this year, from our 2-day certification training, and in August, our first ever Advanced Evidence Officer training in the beautiful community of Coronado, California. Did you know Coronado is actually an island off the coast of Southern California? Also, we're looking for training locations, so if you think your region would benefit from our training, please send your interest to info@evidencemanagement.com. Okay, let's go ahead and move forward with selecting our recipients. The recipient for the first item will be for the NarcGone, which is the 1 gallon with the retail value of $250. Let's reach down in here, pull out. Our winner of the NarcGone is Beth Fleet. Beth Fleet from Duval County Courthouse. Congratulations, you are the winner. Now for our next drawing. This is for the $100 Amazon gift card. $100 Amazon gift card. Throw them around inside. And our winner is Hannah Fisher. Hannah Fisher from the city of Williston Police Department in North Dakota. Congratulations, Hannah. You won the $100 Amazon gift card. Okay, now it's time to pick the first of 2 $500 grants. The first grant from Tracker Products. Tracker Products. A big thanks to the folks over at Tracker Products. All right, and the recipient of our first $500 grant is Allie Radlitz. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, Allie. Allie Radlitz from Kansas Bureau of Investigations. Your agency has just won the $500 grant, so congratulations to you. And now our next grant, $500 grant on behalf of yours truly, Evidence Management Institute. Shake up the bag one more time. Reach in there and pull. All right. This is for Don Subrin. Don Subrin from Palm Bay Police Department. Congratulations, you have won the second $500 grant for your agency. Folks, thank you for your participation. I want to say a very sincere thank you for everything you do. And remember, last but not least, always remember to secure the chain.
just need it to be mapped.
I think I was muted. So you can see our production values are a little off today. It's like we're doing this on our own, unprofessionally, untrained. And that might be the case. But so I think I was muted that whole last little segment. But thank you very much for participating. We love to give away stuff at Christmas because that's kind of what you do at Christmas. But we're going to move from Christmas and we're going to talk about the new year. And I've got to move this little thing out because I can't see a darn thing. So we'll be contacting the winners of those grants on how to receive. But I want to talk a little bit about 2022. Just James and I have been kind of brainstorming for the last year and a half, ever since we started doing that little online free training that's still on our website, by the way. We've been talking about different things, different ways that we could change the culture of evidence management, help you impact a change on the industry and just make a difference. And after a while, you realize you can't change the culture by doing the same thing over and over and over again. So this year, we're trying a new idea to solve a very old problem. And it might fail. It might be an epic failure. But in the words of the philosopher Neil Young, it's better to burn out than fade away. So we're going to try this, and we think it's going to be successful. But we have no idea of predicting that. But when I talk to evidence custodians across the country, and we talk to a lot at our training classes, we talk to a lot when we do consulting work, we talk to a lot just on the phone or online after watching one of our presentations or asking a question from one of the online classes. And you have a lot of similar themes in our industry that, hey, I'd love to go to one of your training classes, but our agency just can't afford it. They won't send me. They can't afford the registration. You know, do you do scholarships? And traditionally our answer has been, no, we really don't. I mean, that's kind of the model. But if we're really passionate about reaching evidence custodians and training people on the best practices and standards and just explaining to people what is important about what you do and how to do it properly, that's really what James and I are both very passionate about. We feel very strongly in the industry as kind of the linchpin for the justice system. And I don't think we're overstepping or overstating when we make those claims. The work that you do as an evidence custodian is invaluable. If it weren't for the job that you do at your agency, justice would not be served. And if that is the goal, to change the culture and to reach people and to improve practices, to improve or change the culture, we got to be better at reaching people, and we got to reach more people, regardless of whether they can pay. So in 2022, we had a new idea. You exist, you're out there, you need training all across the country in each of the 50 different states, probably in some Polynesian islands and Caribbean islands, if we want to do that. But everybody needs training, and we want to bring training to you. But everybody can't afford necessarily to send somebody to training. Well, we've tried two different ways to approach that problem. One of the things that we realized is that there is an entire industry out there that wants to support you in your efforts, and they want to be in front of an audience that is very unique. When you look at a company like Tracker Products, they sell evidence management software. It's really critical for them to get in front of evidence custodians so that people know about their product. It makes sense. The best place to do that is at a training conference or a training class, because that's where large groups of our people congregate. There aren't very many training conferences out there. There just aren't. And there aren't very many training classes out there. There just aren't. So if we could bring those two things together, if we could bring industry together and evidence custodians together to meet both of their needs, I think we would do something really cool. And that's what we're doing in 2022. We are going to be in live training in 2022, but here's the thing that I think is cool. We're offering our training. It's a 2-day certification training. It includes training materials, and the certification class. And we're going to offer it. There's going to be no cost to the agency, no cost to the individual participant. We think this is revolutionary. Free training ain't free. I mean, it costs money to put on training. And there are training materials, there's travel, there's a host of different logistical things that have to be taken care of. And we really believe that this training is the best in the country. We want to give you the best training that is available in the world about evidence management, and we want to provide that to you at no cost to you. And the way that we do that is we find people that partner with us that believe the same things we do. We've had a partner in Tracker Products that has believed in this mission from the get-go, and they've been there from the ground floor and have supported us fully for years. And as we change this model, we're looking at other partners, new partners, to help us reach the same people. So Tracker is going to help us out this year. We're bringing on kind of a group of different industry vendors that are going to help us pull this off and bring this to you at no cost. So we think that's going to be fun. Obviously, there are going to be some things that we try to make sure that don't happen. We got to make sure that if people say they're coming to class, they actually come to class. We'll talk more about the specifics of the application process and registration a little differently, but we just want to tell you what we're going to do and where we're going to do it right now. We're going to be in Houston, Texas in April of 2022. We're going to be in the Kansas City, Missouri area in May of 2022. You see the pattern here. There's a month, there's some cities. June of 2022, we're going to be in the Denver area. And in July, that's when we do our tour of California. We'll be in the San Diego area, which I will go at any time to Southern California for no reason whatsoever. And then the Bay Area up in the northern part of the state at the tail end of July. We're also going to be in Indiana and Ohio in August, and in September we're going to be in Atlanta and somewhere along Florida's Emerald Coast in September of 2022. Those are our goals. We've targeted our regions, we've targeted our places that we want to be. We're going to be in these regions. There'll be more specific dates to follow, but this is where we're going. This is when we're going there. We would love to see you there. We would love you to be a part of it. Another fun thing that we're trying to do is work with where we're in a state where there are state associations like PEEF in Florida or CAPE in California or CAPE in Colorado or MAPE in Missouri. We want to work with those folks and we want to work together. We're not trying to compete against anybody that is trying to reach evidence custodians or change the culture or reach people in that state. We're trying to work with you. And we've reached out preliminarily to folks in a lot of those organizations and a lot of those regions just to explain what we're doing and how we're trying to accomplish that. And hopefully they will help us fill classes with people that need them. So we're excited about that. We think that's going to be fun. It gets us out of the house, helps us do what we do, and it will help. I think it's going to help advance the culture in general, which I'm always excited about. More things that are going to be fun. I hope my audio wasn't too loud there. In August of 2022, we're going to do a new advanced evidence custodian workshop on Coronado Island in California. That too will be offered at no cost to the participant. This is something that industry, we're going to work towards having them sponsor all of our training from today until we stop doing training, because I think there are people out there that need it. And if the thing that keeps a police department from sending people to training is the fact that there's a cost associated, we've removed that barrier. There's no excuses now. We're also going to do an evidence ETO workshop, an evidence training officer workshop in the fall of 22. And rounding out our training schedule for 2022, we're completely revising all of our online training. That's going to be brand new for 2022. So we're excited about all those things. I think I'm missing a slide. It's probably, yeah, that skipped a place. I'm going to try to go past this one real fast and go to this one. We're also going to combine a lot of these events with 20 and 22 events. There are no state associations in Kansas. There is not an association in Indiana or in Ohio or in Kentucky. Those are regions where we've had people reach out to us that are interested in starting an association. So we're going to have an event in kind of concert with a training class in that area to kind of bring people together and give them an opportunity to form their own state association in 2022. So we're excited about all those things, but that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about drugs. As an evidence custodian, the biggest nightmare for me as an evidence custodian was when we would have to do a large drug destruction. And at our agency, we were just outside of Dallas, Texas. The only incinerator facility near us was in Carthage, Texas. And Carthage is a long, long ways away from Dallas, Texas. It's like a 2.5-hour drive to Carthage. And it's a miserable drive because you're in a large crime scene van filled with stinky dope, and driving it across the country is just miserable. And one of my favorite mornings, actually there were two. The way that I found the incinerator facility in Carthage, Texas, the first time was by following the plume of black smoke emanating from the smokestack. They burned medical waste and dope, and it was next door to a Tyson chicken plant. That's why I don't eat that kind of chicken anymore. But that facility's the only game in town for people in North Texas. And James and I have talked to people in other regions, like in Nebraska. We were talking to someone in Omaha, and they had a huge seizure of fentanyl, and they were trying to figure out where they were going to get rid of it. There's nowhere in Nebraska that is a possibility. I believe, James, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, that the closest thing we could find for them was in California, to ship it or truck it from California. You're muted. But I think that was the closest place. I mean, Texas or California. So drug destruction is a huge problem. It's a safety challenge. It's a security challenge. It is a logistical challenge. And honestly, bottom line, it's a resource challenge. So we're excited to have NarcGone on today to talk about something that might offset some of these challenges for you in the area of drug disposition. And I'm going to skip that slide again. So the guy that's been waiting patiently in his office, Jim Fleming from NarcGone. Say hello, Jim.
Greetings, everybody.
Howdy, Jim.
And Sean, thank you for this opportunity. No problem with the wait at all. So I'm very interested as I get to know more and more about the industry. I just wanted to start by saying we do very much appreciate this opportunity to be with evidence management on your podcast and reach out to your audience. I've been involved with NarcGone now for 2 years, and we're convinced we have a truly unique product to help in the property and evidence room, as Sean has mentioned, destroying the drugs after they've been court released. Maybe they're not going to see a court date, and destroying them upon confiscation. So we want to present that to you, want to let you know what went into the thinking behind it. And my individual role, I'm a manufacturer's rep, and I'm the business development manager for NarcGone. What the product is, it's a safe chemical destruction that allows you to have I'm going to keep emphasizing safe, a safe, easy, cost-effective, on-site, on-demand way to destroy your Schedule 1 narcotics. I'm going to repeat that, on-site and on-demand. You do it when you are ready to do it. If it's released today, but you can't get to it today, keep it secure and get to it when you can. It's going to be in your property and evidence room or a designated spot that you've chosen. So what we hope to accomplish in this, or plan to accomplish, I guess the audience will let us know whether we've done it or not. We want to introduce you to the two versions of it, NarcGone HD for Schedule 1 drugs and NarcGone C for cannabis confiscation drugs, cannabis drugs. We want to make sure that you're familiar with the features and benefits, at least as we see them from our experience talking with evidence management teams, talking with trainers such as Sean and others that we've come in contact with over the couple of years, scores of law enforcement agencies, maybe hundreds of your peers that have given us feedback that the product is definitely something that can be used as a tool. We're not saying we're on 100% resolution to everything that's wrong in the handling of the drugs, but we are saying we're a terrific tool, and your peers are confirming that for us. So lastly, what we want to provide for you is the tools, because we realize you don't have an open checkbook, the tools that allow you to formulate a budgetary consideration to your management team so that you can ask for the funds. Key being the cost effectiveness. Sean, thank you for the lead-in about how hard it is to find incinerators that are compliant with the EPA restrictions. The most recent in our keeping track of things was in 2019, and hugely onerous on both the operators but the users of incinerators. So your story in North Texas is taken to heart. Nebraska is taken to heart. We've had experience, and I'll refer to it later, with South Dakota and with Florida that offer some of the same insights, that you just cannot find incinerators that are functioning under the EPA clean air considerations. So I want to remove the mystery and the magic of NarcGone early in the presentation. So if, Sean, you've had an opportunity to queue up our video, what we want to show is just a quick 90-second video. This appears at our exclusive national distributors website. I'll give you this information later, but they are at aldistributing.net. And if technology works for us, Sean will be able to queue up a 90-second video to show you just how easy NarcGone is to use.
All right, we'll see. That is a huge if, but I'm going to try it right here. My
If not, we go to
computer's not been my friend today, but I have not cursed once, so I feel pretty good about that. All right, let's see if this works. Oh, I still have to hit play somewhere. Yeah.
NarcGone, a product specifically formulated for law enforcement use, will render both prescription drugs and illicit drugs inert and unrecoverable within minutes. NarcGone is environmentally safe and comes in 4 convenient sizes, from 64 ounces to 5 gallons. With NarcGone, the disposal of drugs could not be easier or more affordable. NarcGone requires no special training to use, and the carbon-based chemicals do not require any special storage or monitoring. NarcGone not only meets all EPA and DEA requirements for drug disposal, it is supported and recommended disposal system listed in the National Drug Control Strategy of 2015. How easy is NarcGone? Number 1, remove the drugs from any packaging or container. Number 2, place the drugs into the NarcGone bottle using the supplied funnel. Number 3, shake the container to make sure the proprietary carbon-based solution covers all of the drugs. Within a few minutes, the drugs are neutralized and unrecoverable. 4, NarcGone has a shelf life of 3 years. This allows you to continue to use the bottle until the contents reach 2 inches from the top. Once the bottle is full, you can place the provided liquid hardener inside of the container and shake it for the final time. Within a few minutes, the container will be able to be discarded as normal trash with no risk of drug recovery or harm to the environment. NarcGone is for law enforcement use only. Since this product not only neutralizes prescription drugs, it also renders inert illicit drugs such as heroin, methamphetamine, and cocaine.
Thank you, Sean. And of course, our contact information's there. We'll have that again later in the conversation here on the podcast.
So that's how it works. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Let me forward through a couple of these.
Sure.
I think right now, if you got more to add, Jay, please do. But I want to try to field maybe some questions or answers from our audience about NarcGone and just pepper you with those.
Much preferred that it's a question and answer, but let me touch on a few quick points that maybe will answer some of the questions. First of all, there are a couple inaccuracies in that video that we need to make you aware of. When the factory first was formed, when our founder came up with the concept, that was accurate at the time, but a couple little things such as funnels are no longer provided for it. The shelf life, upon continuing R&D with our engineers, we've determined that once opened, it has a 1-year shelf life. Unopened, it has a 5-year shelf life. since we will be able to ship from inventory for you, we would encourage you, don't buy bigger than you need, because we'll be able to ship from inventory for you the next time you need something. So, but if you do buy it and you do not open it, you have a 5-year shelf life on it. The funnel is not part of it. The hardeners are subject to what's available at the factory at the time. But you will not, it will not make a difference to you, and I'll show you in a moment, whether it's liquid or powdered hardener, because you're just dropping the whole package and you are not handling the hardener other than to drop the package in. The quick point I would make, we have 3 sizes. We have a 1 gallon size, a 2.5 gallon size, and a 5 gallon size, depending on the accumulation that you have in your evidence room. Your accumulation hopefully will be different after the first time you use NarcGone. Maybe you've been accumulating it for a few years and you need to get rid of a large amount. If this shows up on the camera, at the factory, we fill it half full. The remaining airspace is now yours to for the displacement as you add your powders and pills and liquids to the solution. Keep shaking it up every time you use it, replace the cover every time you use it, and set it aside until its next use. Again, 1 year from the date that you open it. So you do not have to fill it the first time. You do not have to fill it immediately. You can use it over time as drugs become available to add to the solution. When you do then complete and get within 2 inches of the top, depending on the product, we'll have the proper number of hardeners. If you've ever dealt with a paint hardener so that you can throw away paint cans, you add it still in the package. You know, the hardeners to the solution, and you set it aside for about an hour. The new consistency is then going to be that of a soiled baby diaper. So you have done the 2 most important things that the DEA requires to destroy drugs. You've rendered them inert upon contact with our carbon-based solution the very day that you put it in. The destruction starts immediately and it's over within a couple minutes. And you've rendered them unrecoverable. There's some kind of heat process that could do it, but if they did try the heat process, that would destroy the drugs, using the heat to try to extract it from the baby diaper gel. So for the DEA's compliance, we render it inert and unrecoverable. For the EPA's compliance, it is now considered solid waste. That's why our graphic showing you throwing it into the dumpster. We always encourage you to check with your local landfill considerations just to be certain, but we do clear the EPA, and I need to get this term right, so if you excuse me for looking at my notes. The EPA defines it as a solidified, non-hazardous, activated carbon product is what you're putting in your dumpster at the end of the process. At that point in time, order more, and hopefully it's occurred to us in some instances that it's necessary, because it's been accumulated over time, to order 5 gallons. Again, half of it's going to be the solution when it shows up. The other half, up to 2 inches from the top, is airspace for you. Keep in mind, if you're not certain, but you think you might need 5 gallons, you have a year to fill it. So you don't have to fill it the first day. I feel, I hope your department does not have that kind of volume of drugs coming through. But again, you have 1 year from the day you open it. You'll be able to see the carbon-based solution. You'll also be able to see, particularly in the 5 gallons, why we want you to shake it up, because the carbon crystal sometimes will settle in the patented formula that we have. The difference between the two, and then Sean, I'd be very happy to get on to questions. The difference between the 2 formulas, again, I must compliment our engineers. We came out with only NarcGone HD a few years ago. Continuing testing verified or showed to our engineers that we were not destroying the THC component of cannabis products. Now, I will say that those that used it at that point in time did indeed render them unrecoverable, because they wound up in the baby diaper gel. But we cannot state that we destroyed THC with our HD formula. So our engineers came up with a C formula, cannabis, which is specifically the THC, does not claim to destroy any other Schedule 1 narcotics, but it does specifically destroy the THC component. The reason it's available only in 5 gallon containers is because we know you have a lot of leafy product involved with what you've confiscated, and that eats up a lot of airspace. The process is the same. Fill it up to 2 inches from the top over the 1-year life expectancy of the product. Add the hardeners at the end, and once the baby diaper gel is set, then you can throw it into the dumpster. Sean, if you're ready for questions, those were the key features. We want it to be easy. It's on site. It's when you're ready for it. It's on demand, and you don't have to make these drives to incinerators while they're still available.
Yeah, we got several questions, and I also want to ask one about. I think we talked about this the other day.
Yes.
Just at 1, 2, and 5 gallons.
Yes.
Are y'all looking into scaling it up into even larger container sizes?
Thank you. It's a great question. The easy answer is yes. It is scalable. What we're faced with is the logistics of doing it. We can secure, I forget the exact dimensions, 33 gallons and 55-gallon containers. We can secure agitation devices because it's all in the agitation to make sure the drugs come in contact with our carbon crystals, and that it continues to attack the drugs in that manner. So yes, we can scale it up. I will offer to your audience, what we're really looking for is an opportunity to prove it. No one has approached us with anything other than a 5-gallon consideration, but if there is indeed an accumulation, I'm thinking maybe some county considerations, sheriff's departments, maybe some states. And again, Sean and James, with your experience, maybe you're aware of somebody.
Absolutely.
So the scalability is certainly available. The challenge is shipping it to the location and then making sure that the location keeps the agitation going. But again, there's industrial strength agitators that could be used to do that. Thank you that's a great question. We'd love to pursue that.
Very cool. Yeah. So if I think the answer to who might have more than 5 gallons of dope in their room, probably the answer is a very non-technical everybody. I think lots of people have a lot of drugs that need to get rid of, and everybody is kind of facing the same dilemma. So but enough of my questions, my soapbox. Let's get to some viewer mail. What about fentanyl?
Absolutely.
My best answer is we have the industry expert in the other frame here. The engineered design of Narcon HD will indeed destroy fentanyl. The question, and we're happy to have access to James, if indeed we do, this is the first time I've met James.
Oh yeah.
How do we do that safely? Because of all the considerations of handling fentanyl. The chemical destruction can be accomplished. It's the safe implementation of Narcon HD with the fentanyl product. So I might offer, James, if you have a knee-jerk reaction, if you have a first blush reaction, otherwise we'd love to work behind the scenes and come back with a more complete answer. Other than chemically, it's going to work. How do we do it safely?
Well, can you guys hear me now? I know earlier my mic was off. So first of all, are we talking about taking packaging, separating the packaging from the narcotics? If that's the case, then we fall into a whole new level of safety. I would only assume, I'm not a forensic scientist, but I would only assume that you'd want to use the same care that a scientist would while they're doing the analysis of the drug. So I know they use a hood with a reverse pressure air system. So I mean that's really the only thing I can come up with to tell you to separate narcotics from the packaging for the purpose of pouring it into the funnel.
And James, to answer your question directly, yes, I should have emphasized this while we were talking about the product itself. It must come in contact with the narcotic.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's the transference from the containers, the plastic bags that it might show up in. There are considerations that have been suggested to us, but again, can it be done safely? Because we haven't done anything to help you if we can't make it safe.
Right.
And that's why, if I may offer to your audience, perhaps James and I and our technical people can get together and say, maybe we throw up our hands and say, we just can't do it.
Right.
But I would like to think that with the experience of a James and the evidence management, that we can come up with a solution to at least be considered.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd like to get the opinion of some forensic experts as well, because they're the folks that are handling it raw and in the lab. So, but they have the safety equipment, which that's a luxury that we don't have in evidence, is any type of safety equipment to complete these narcotic destructions. So that's to be continued on that one. I think we'll definitely have some conversations.
Terrific. And I have a note on the side because we had touched on that earlier in the week with Sean. So thank you. We owe your audience a more complete answer.
Absolutely.
And when we get it, we'll come back to you. So here's another question, and I think this is more about volume. So in the 5-gallon container, in the 2-gallon container, the 1-gallon container, half of the volume available for drugs is taken up by the solution. So
correct.
And we had a question: how many drugs will fit, or how many will each thing hold? And I think that's a difficult question to quantify. If you've got the math already figured out, great. But
we do have, and I'll reference this source later, at aledistributing.net, because I don't want to fool around and lose the screen here. We rated it on pills, but then again, the question becomes, well, how big's the pill? So my best way in conversations such as this is, how big is your volume? You can look at a 5-gallon paint can at Home Depot the next time you're there, and imagine putting your drugs in there. How much would fit? If you have bought too large of a container, you have a year to continue to use it. If you've bought too small of a container with 5 gallons, we'd like to work with you and find out how much did you destroy. But then you would wind up buying another container from us to continue the destruction of what you've accumulated.
I think that would be an interesting kind of study for y'all, is to figure out, roughly, I mean, what are we talking about? How many grams, how many pounds, how many, a measurable quantity. So even though we can't answer those two questions right now, those are two questions that we can figure out answers to. Let me scroll down.
While you scroll, I'll also mention, if there's someone out there that wants to work with us on something like that wants to purchase 5 gallons and perhaps videotape what you're placing into, so we can see it as it displaces it.
Sure.
That could be, I think for evidence management would be a terrific point.
Well, I used to have 5 pounds of heroin just here at the office, and I could have done that. No, I've never done that. So just for those of you in the audience, that was a joke. No heroin here.
For those listening in.
Yeah. I know there might be some officers paying attention, but go ahead and run the search warrant. It's fine. Very boring person. How long does it take, once placed inside? This is a good question. Once placed inside, how long does it take the process to neutralize the chemicals inside? And he was trying to, Joseph wanted to know, the EPA identifies, what term do they use to call it neutralized? The EPA anyways.
Well, actually, it's not the EPA. We consider it the DEA. Considers it neutralized. We begin rendering it inert immediately. Process is maybe a couple of minutes at most, depending on the volume that you placed into it. Where the EPA comes into consideration, at least in our view of it, is how do you dispose of the final product? And that's where that carbon-based solid waste designation comes from, because it's encapsulated in that baby diaper gel and then thrown into the dumpster in the container.
Is it neutralized when it goes into the solution, or when the hardener is applied to the solution?
Oh, I'm sorry. It's destroyed when it touches when it secures. It is secured to our carbon crystals. That's when the neutralization process begins, and it's almost immediate.
Okay, so the hardener doesn't neutralize it. It's the actual chemical that you're dumping it into.
Correct. The hardener allows us for making it compliant with being able to throw it in your dumpster then, rather than having a 2.5 gallon container of mush with neutralized drugs in it.
And one question I want to kind of make sure that I ask, just so that we restate this and make sure that people kind of understand the best use case for this product, is, can you throw just the drug in the container in the baggie or in the foil, in the packaging?
It must touch the narcotic. So the answer to that is no. There's, again, tricks of the trade to do it, other than fentanyl, which is so deadly. I don't want to be involved with the trick of the trade to your audience here, but somehow you have to get, it has to get to the material that's in the bag, either by dumping it. I'll just mention it, Sean, it brings up concerns with how would you do it, but if you could open the bag below the surface, then at least nothing's escaping to the surface in a puff. But if we don't touch the narcotic, we cannot destroy the narcotic.
All right. You got people already looking at your website here. Jim, I see on the NarcGone website, you only offer HD. Will you offer a combo pack?
Well, then I need to direct you to a different website.
There
You
you
found
go.
our factory website, and I want to compliment them on it. They got us this far in the game. So they brought my partners and I in as their sales and management team 2 years ago. And we found that it was easier to handle questions such as that at aldistributing.net. And aldistributing.net, which you can see at the bottom of the screen from Sean's, is it has all the pricing that you need. It has that number of pills per package that you need. I don't believe there's anything in a combo pack, but that doesn't mean we couldn't look at something like that. It does let me know that going forward, and Sean, when the time's right, you say when we're going to announce the details for it. But we do, we've been discussed with Sean a method of getting you a 10% discount on your department's first purchase. For those of us that are repeat customers, your next purchase. So maybe wait till the end of the month when we're going to have that available for you, and that could be your discount by the combo at that point in time, and get a 10% discount across the entire purchase.
All right. So for folks that want to try it, we're going to do a drawing. Actually, well, I'm not going to do a drawing. Jim is going to do a drawing. That's my favorite kind of drawing, something that I don't have to participate in. But for those of you that are watching live, or for those of you that watch it within the next few days offline, Jim is going to do a drawing. You email him at jfleming@narcgone.com. And
The hyphen is important though. Excuse me, Sean, I apologize for interrupting, but you'll notice there's a hyphen in NarcGone in my email address. That's important. Otherwise it gets lost in the factory spam, but we're separate from the factory. So
yeah, and I'll try to put in the chat window at the bottom, I'll put Jim's website and his email in there. What did you say, till the 20?
yes, the way we'll structure this is please email me. It's right there, jfleming@narc-gone.com. And for all entries received, pardon me for looking off site here for my calendar, for all entries received by noon on Friday, January 28th, because we realize people are going to come and access this in evidence management's library that couldn't join us live here. So we're going to keep the drawing open until noon on Friday, January 28th. At that point in time, we'll pull a winner from those entries for a 1 gallon sample of NarcGone. It'll be the HD solution. Our only request is please use it in a timely fashion, and please get back to us with some feedback on it. What we will do for all entries, we'll acknowledge your entry so that you know that we've received it, and we'll include a one-page brochure of all these features that we've discussed here. I said that we would give you something to bring to your management in addition to that 90-second video. We have a one-page brochure that'll summarize the key features and the key cost-effective benefits of using our NarcGone products.
All right. So I want to point your attention to two things. If you look in the chat window, which I've not used, I put Jim's email address and their website in the chat window for you to use. Do it quickly because we're about to wrap up here. I also want to point your attention to a document that we placed in the handout section. It's a training event schedule for 2022 for EMI. That'll just show you the places we're going to be and the dates for upcoming episodes of the evidence show. So you're free to grab those files, grab those URLs and those links. But in general, thank you for showing up. Thank you, Jim, for being here with us and for talking to people about NarcGone. We look forward to seeing what y'all come up with in the future. So
And
that's
thank you for the opportunity, Sean. James, look forward to working with you.
Yep.
We appreciate it very
Nice
much.
meeting you, Jim. Thank you.
all right. So next time on the evidence show, and the date is wrong because when I went through the dates, it's actually the 17th. We always do this on Thursdays, but
Yeah,
I'm really bad at looking at stuff.
we'll make an
We'll do-
exception.
Episode 2 of season 3 is going to be a cliffhanger musical event. So I think it's really important that you watch. It'll be when we kind of reserve the right to not do that, which it probably won't be that. But we would love to see you here at 2 p.m. We'll send you in advance what the real subject or topic is going to be. That's February the 17th. I can't correct the little 16. So I'm just going to restate that over and over and over again. But this one's running a little long. Thank you for being here. Let me make sure nobody else has any questions.
No, it looks like we're good, Sean.
Nope, no more additional questions that we haven't already kind of asked and answered. So y'all have a great week. Thanks for being here. Jim, thank you. James, thank you. We'll see you
All
next
right.
time
Take care, everybody.
on the
Secure the
evidence show.
chain. Take care. Have a good night.
Bye-bye.